everybody. My name is 𝚍𝚘𝚗𝚊𝚖. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Whether you've practiced already with me here before or you're completely new, I'm really excited that we're going to be doing some yoga together today. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I do have new videos that come out each week. That way you'll be able to stay up to date on those. And I would also love to hear from you. So if you flow with me and have a comment, you can leave it below. I also linked my Instagram and Facebook page below, so you can reach out to me there. It would be really, really fabulous to hear from you. Today's practice, if you do have a couple of blocks, keep them handy just in case you need them. And we're going to be moving around quite a bit in the flow today. And I don't mean that to freak you out. When I say moving around quite a bit, it's actually a great way to distance ourselves from external distraction because we're just in the zone, as we move around. And instead of feeling frustrated or panicking that you've got to, keep up and do everything right, just think of it more of a dance. And when you're out dancing, you're not thinking, okay, now I'm going to put my left foot here, I'm going to put my right foot here. So I'm going to guide you through this, but just allow yourself to move. Don't be afraid to move and have fun with it. I say that all the time, but it's actually really important and key, and it's something that we can quickly forget as we start moving and start getting a little bit stuck in our heads. So enjoy it and we'll get started. We're going to start today's practice in a seated position. So simple cross-legged position, whatever is comfortable for you, and keep in mind that you always have the option to place yourself up on a block. So you're sitting on the block, and that's going to keep you a little bit more elevated and give you a little bit more space in the pelvic area. So whatever works for you, find your position and bring your hands gently to your knees and close your eyes. So taking a few deep breaths to really arrive. Starting to breathe deeply in and out through your nose. And you might notice that as you start to concentrate on your breathing, you're immediately starting to bring a bit of tension into your hands. You can feel them grasping tightly onto your knees or perhaps in your jaw area. So try to bring your breath into a deep, steady pace. At the same time, trying to melt away this tension that starts to creep up. And it's not something that's easy or that happens immediately. So take these first few moments to really try to arrive fully into your practice, into this moment. Take a little bit of distance from our day, whether it just began or whether we're already more toward the end of it. Trying to keep the thoughts of your to-do list, keep it in the distance for now. We just want to concentrate on what we have going on inside. So as you're breathing deeply, letting your thoughts calm down, letting your breathing grow deep and steady. We're trying to slow things down, because when we slow things down, we can start to actually perceive what is going on instead of just bypassing or passing over it. Try to feel where you're carrying a little bit of tension. Perhaps you note that your hands are grasping on tightly to your knees, so try to relax your hands. Try to let your shoulders drop down away from your ears and gently back. So you can feel a little bit of expansion in your chest. Look into your jaw area. Perhaps you're carrying a bit of tension there, and try to let that melt away. And keep feeling nice it is to just stay here quietly, just letting yourself be. Begin again to inhale gently into your nose, so as slow as possible. Feel the lift in your chest, the lift in the top of your head, pulling your shoulders back, giving some space in your chest to grow. And then when you get to full capacity here, just stop. Try not to lose any of this height. Inhale a teensy bit more. And even if it doesn't seem possible, relax your hands, relax your jaw. Inhale a little bit more. And out of your mouth, exhale everything out. Fully exhaling and following until all of the air is out of your lungs. Gently let your mouth close and begin to inhale deeply in and out through your nose again. Start to blink your eyes open. And then from here, with your hands still placed on your knees, but not grasping, they're just caressing your knees, and keeping this height that you've created in your spine. And on an inhale, pulling your hands, pull your chest forward, lengthen your throat and look up. And then on an exhale, start to round your spine, gaze toward your belly button, open the area between your shoulder blades. Inhale, coming forward with your chest like a hook is in your heart, pulling it forward and up. And then exhale, rounding your spine, drop your gaze toward your belly button. Inhale, arms come up to the ceiling, and exhale, roll over your knees and come into tabletop. So here in tabletop, your wrists are directly below your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Your knees are directly below your hips. Extend your feet out, top of your feet on the mat. And from here, begin to push into your right hand and lengthen your left hand forward. And then begin to lengthen your right leg back. So really push strongly into your right hand, so it's going to keep you propped upright and not sinking into your right shoulder. Imagine the space you're creating between your left fingertips and your right toes, and try to lengthen it even more. And then exhale, bring only your right knee down, and then begin to place your left arm under your right arm and gently shift yourself down onto your shoulder and onto your left ear. Let yourself sink down here. I know in the beginning you resist a little bit because it's a bit of an awkward position. So see how much with every exhale you can just really let yourself get heavy into your shoulder. And push your tailbone up so we continue to lengthen our spine here. If this is comfortable, you might even want to start to bring your right hand up to the sky. Keep your face soft and breathe. Then begin to bring your right hand down. On your next inhale, push into your right hand. You're going to bring your left hand up to the sky. And then gently place your left hand down. You can wiggle a little bit. And then come back to the center. Begin to push into your left hand and lengthen your right arm forward, your left leg back. And again, without caving into your left shoulder, try to push into the mat really strong. And then imagine that you've got someone pulling your right hand forward and someone else pulling your left foot back. So it's like a game of tug of war, and your body is the rope. And just feel the space that you can create with your own strength. One more deep inhale in. And then as you exhale, gently place your left knee down. Take your right arm and thread it under your left arm, bringing your right shoulder and your right ear down to the mat. Let yourself grow heavy, which is not easy. Try to relax as best you can into your right shoulder, your right ear. And then if you feel comfortable, you can bring your left hand up. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable, then you don't need to do that. Keep pushing your tailbone up toward the sky. And then gently bring your left hand back down to the mat. On the next inhale, you're going to lift yourself back up, twisting to the right and lifting your right hand up to the sky. And then exhale, come back down with your right hand. Now with both hands spread wide, begin to inhale, activate your hands in the direction of your knees, pulling your heart forward, imagining that you're widening your bum toward the back of your mat, and lengthen your throat, look in front of you, deep, deep inhale into your nose. With your face soft, exhale, begin to round your spine, pushing strongly into your feet, your knees, your hands, and open that space between your shoulder blades. Look between your knees. Again, inhaling, belly down, soft bend in your elbows as you try to make your hands and knees go toward each other, but it's like they're glued down to the mat. They don't actually move. And then exhaling, rounding your spine. One more time, inhaling, dropping the belly down, looking forward. And then exhale, pushing away from the mat, opening up your back. Come back to the center and begin to push into your right hand. Lengthen your left arm forward and your right leg back. So again, just as before, we're staying nice and strong. You can feel your belly activated, your belly button pulling in. Now, if you would like to try one step further, then begin to bend your right leg. Start to sweep your left arm back and just see if maybe your fingertips kind of brush your foot or can maybe take hold of your foot or your ankle. Keep your shoulders parallel and begin to inhale, gently push your right foot against your fingertips, opening up your chest. And if you don't want to do this step, then just keep extending your left hand forward and your right foot back. Now, if you took hold of your foot, inhale to lengthen everything again, and exhale, gently place everything down into tabletop. Inhale, dropping your belly, lengthening your throat, looking forward, and exhale, pulling belly button in and rounding your spine. Inhale, back to center. Begin to push into your left hand to lengthen right arm forward and left leg back. Same as the other side. You don't have to go a step further if you don't feel comfortable. Begin to bend your left leg if you so choose and sweep your right hand back to see if maybe you can take hold of something, your foot or your ankle, and keeping shoulders parallel, gently with your left foot flexed, begin to push your left foot against your right fingertips. Going into a deeper opening in your chest, and then lengthening everything out and placing everything back down. One more time, inhale, drop your belly, dragging your hands toward your knees, knees toward your hands, and then exhale, opening up the back body and dropping your gaze between your knees. Come back to center and gently begin to walk your hands back as you tuck your toes. Come up onto your feet, and then you're going to take a step sideways. So feet are parallel and your hands are below your shoulders. From here, now shift and rotate your toes toward the outside. So your toes and your heels are actually all in one line. And your knees are directly above your ankles and not going beyond. So if they're going beyond, then just widen your feet a little bit. Bring your hands onto your knees and lift yourself up. Feel the crown of your head making its way up toward the ceiling. Interlace your fingers and push them with the palms in front of you. and begin to drop your bum down, pushing strongly into your feet. And then inhale, pushing your palms up toward the ceiling. So you're trying to touch the ceiling with your hands as you sink heavily down into your bum, and you try to maintain calm, which is not easy because you can feel everything in this position. Take one more breath in, and then exhale. Bring your hands down, turn your heels so your feet are parallel again, and just forward fold. Keep a soft bend in your knees and rock back and forth to release anything that bubbled up. Inhale, lift yourself halfway, lengthening your spine. And then exhale, walk your hands forward, rotate your left toes forward, lift your right heel, and sink down onto your right knee for low lunge. Your left knee is directly above your ankle. Inhale, sweep your arms up, and feel the activation in your legs as you're dragging your left heel back and your right knee forward. Try to lift your heart up toward the sky. And then on an exhale, begin to bring your hands into prayer in front of your heart. Turn to the side, toward the left, and then gently place your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. You're pushing your palms in toward each other. So it's as though you want to lift your heart in the direction of your thumbs, your left elbow pointing up toward the ceiling, and you're continuing to lengthen out of the crown of your head. Legs are nice and strong here. And with the next exhale, look down. Bring your hands down to the mat. Lift your right knee, and then walk your hands back to the center. Parallel your feet. Inhale, lengthen your head forward. And exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Feel the length in your spine, and then hinge yourself up to come up to standing. Inhale, lift your hands up to the sky. Soft bend in your knees. Exhale, bring your right arm underneath your left arm, and you're trying to align your elbows. You can take your shoulders, or you can keep spiraling your forearms around so your palms find each other. They won't be perfectly aligned, but you can press your hands into each other. And the more you press, you're going to feel this opening in your upper back. Inhale, with a strong core, start to lift your fingertips up toward the sky. And then exhale, fold forward, go really softly and slowly, and again, you can have your hands on your shoulders with your arms crossed. That's perfectly fine. Inhale, really feel into that opening between your shoulder blades. And then on an exhale, release your hands, but keep your arms crossed. So your left arm is crossed over your right arm, and you're going to take hold of the outside of your legs with your hands. So your left hand on the outside of your right leg, and your right hand on the outside of your left leg. You might need to walk your feet a little bit closer or maybe a lot closer, but once your hands find the outside of your legs, start to gently pull, and you'll feel a little bit more opening in between your shoulder blades. Let the crown of your head drop down toward the mat, and relax your jaw. And then release, bring your hands below your shoulders. Inhale as you lift your head, lifting yourself halfway, strong core. And then exhale, walk your hands to the back of the mat. Rotate your toes, your right toes, to the back of the mat and lift your left heel. You might need to take a little bit of a step back so you can sink down your left knee and come into low lunge. Lifting your hands up toward the ceiling, activating your legs. So feeling your right heel drag back, your left knee dragging forward, opening up some space in your heart area, lifting it up toward the sky. On an exhale, hands come down in prayer in front of your heart. Inhale to lift your heart toward your thumbs, and then exhale, rotate to the right and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. your right elbow pointing up and the crown of your head lengthening forward to give yourself some space in your back. And the crown of your head lengthening forward to give you some space and length in your spine. Pull your belly button in and relax your jaw. On your next exhale, look down, hands come down, lift your left knee, and again, we're gonna walk back to the center of the mat, feet parallel. You can bring your feet a little bit closer together, soft bend in your knees, hands to your hips, your elbows meeting behind you. Lengthen your spine as you inhale to come up to standing. Exhale, hands by your side. On an inhale, hands go up. And exhale, you're gonna sweep your arms forward, this time bringing your left arm under your right arm. So aligning your elbows. Again, you can bring your hands to your shoulders, or you can keep rotating and close your hands. You can clap and bring your palms somewhat together. They're not perfectly aligned. Inhale, lift your fingertips up. And exhale, start to dive forward. Remember to keep a soft bend in your knees. Let that space between your shoulder blades start to open. Let your head sink down more toward the mat, and then begin to release your hands and bring your hands to the outside of your legs. So right arm is crossed over the left arm this time. Crown of your head heavy, like there's an anchor attached to it, bringing it down toward the mat. Try to push into the outside of your feet, tailbone lifting up. And then release your hands, hands below your shoulders. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen your spine. And exhale, walk your hands toward the front of the mat. Turn your left toes forward, but this time keep your back foot flat. And you're gonna bend into your left leg, so your left knee is aligned above your left ankle, and let your right hand lead the way as you come up into Warrior Two. Look down and see if you can see your left toe in this position, and if your knee is blocking the view, then gently try to push your left thigh toward the left side of your mat. Sink yourself further down, so rooting down, but at the same time letting your head become light and floating up toward the sky. Nice and strong. On an inhale, you're going to start to drop your right hand to your right thigh, lengthen your left leg as you flip your palm up, and start to bring your left hand above you and toward the back of the mat. You can really feel this opening in your left side body. Your right hand might start to make its way down toward your calf. And then on an inhale, strong core brings you up. Keep lengthening your left fingertips forward until you come down with your left hand on the outside of your left foot, or you might want to use a block here. So you can bring your left hand onto a block in either direction. So you can have on the lower setting or the higher setting, your block, whatever you need, because if your hand is down and that's gonna keep your chest rotating down toward the mat, we don't want that. So it would be better to use a block or a couple of books to prop your hand up so you can actually rotate toward the right and open your right hand up to the sky. Feel the length between your right hip and your right armpit here, and the crown of your head still pushing forward in the direction of the top of your mat. Bend your knees softly, and if your expression is one that is not totally chilled out, then try to relax it and soften your expression a little bit too. On your next exhale, look down. Bring your right hand to your right hip and begin to bend into your left leg and heel toe your right foot a little bit closer. Now, you're going to shift your right knee above your left knee, sorry, above your left ankle, and you might want to use your block here. You're going to bring your left hand about a foot in front of your left foot, or come onto the block. And you're going to start to lift your right leg into the air, coming into half moon. So again, finding space between right armpit and right hip. Look toward the ground. You can begin, if you feel comfortable, to lift your right hand up to the sky. Really creating some space, spreading your right toes wide. And then exhale, gently begin to come down with your right hand. If you have a block, then you can just move it. Lengthening the crown of your head forward, shooting out of your right heel. And then exhale, bring your right foot down next to your left foot. This time unite your feet. So you can keep your big toes united, maybe a little teensy tiny space between your heels. From here, start to lower your bum, bending your legs. Going to sit down on a chair that is not there. Inhale, lifting your hands up toward the sky. And then on an exhale, you're going to bring your hands in front of your heart into prayer. Lift your heart toward your thumbs, and then exhale, bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So just as we did on the twist when we were in the lower lunge, your elbow is lifting up to the sky, pushing your heart toward your thumbs and your tailbone back. So we're creating space in our spine while we twist. Inhale. Coming back up to center. Stay bending into your legs, and exhale, we're gonna come to the other side. I know your thighs are protesting, but we're creating a bit of strength here. So heart pushing toward thumbs, right elbow up. Inhale, come back to center, lengthening your legs. And exhale, fold forward. A little bit of relief. Maybe take a deep inhale into your nose, and out of your mouth, exhale to release something. Inhale, lifting yourself halfway. Exhale, lengthen your right leg back, and then step your right foot to the back of the mat. Walk your hands to the center, and parallel your feet. Soft bend in your knees, and this time, inhale to lengthen your spine, pushing the crown of your head forward, your bum back. Exhale, bring your right hand below your face and begin to inhale, rotate toward the left, lifting your left hand up to the sky. Now, if this feels okay, begin to spiral your left arm behind you. You can bring your hand to your tailbone, or you can kind of wiggle your fingers until they find your inner right thigh. Continue lengthening the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back. And try to pull your left shoulder a little bit farther back to open up your chest more. On your next inhale, come back to center. And exhale, come down with your left hand. Put it where your right hand was. And inhale, we're going to go to the other side. So lengthening crown of head forward, lengthening tailbone back. If it's comfortable, you can begin to look up toward your right fingers with your gaze, as long as it's okay on your neck. If you would like, you can start to spiral your right arm behind you. Place your fist on your tailbone or wiggle your fingers until you find somewhere in the area of your inner left thigh. And if you don't really understand where your fingers are, that's fine. Just feel the opening in your right shoulder. And keep breathing deeply. Begin to look down, lift your right hand up, and then bring your right hand down. Inhale, lifting halfway, lengthening your head forward, and exhale. Walk your fingers to the back of the mat. You're going to keep your left foot down on the mat. Rotate your right toes to face forward, and then shift so your right knee is above your right ankle. Left hand leading the way to come up into Virabhadrasana, looking to see if you can actually find your right toe, your right big toe, and if you can't, then maybe it's because the knee is blocking the way. So opening your pelvic area, trying to get your right thigh more toward the right side of the mat. Let your shoulders drop down, relax your jaw. On your next inhale, left hand on your left thigh, lengthen your right leg, flip up your palm, and begin to bring your right hand above you and behind you. Getting in some nice lengthening in our right side body. Inhale, coming back up using your core, and exhale with a soft bend in your knees. See how far you can lean forward, lengthening with your right hand before you bring your right fingertips down to the mat or onto a block. Inhale to rotate toward the left and bring your left hand up to the sky, looking at it if that's okay on your neck. Feel the space in between your left hip and your left armpit. And actively pushing into both feet. On your next exhale, look down toward your right foot. You're going to bring your left hand to your left hip, bend into your right leg, heel toe your left foot a little bit closer, and then walk your right hand forward, about a foot forward or half meter forward in front of your right foot. And you need for your right hand to be directly aligned below your right shoulder when you shift forward. So the alignment, it's not calculated precisely. You just need to make sure that you have your hand directly below your shoulder here. And lift your left leg behind you. Again, if you need a block under your right hand, that's perfectly fine. Half moon, pushing out of your left heel, spreading your left toes wide, pushing the crown of your head forward, and try to pull your left shoulder a little bit more open. If it feels good, you can start to lift your left hand up toward the sky. Start to pull your chest a little more open. One more breath. And on an exhale, left hand comes down. And you're going to lengthen your left leg behind you and then bring your left foot to meet your right foot. From here, your big toes are united, your heels are slightly apart, just slightly. Start to sink your hips down, coming into Utkatasana. Inhale, hands up to the ceiling, pushing your palms together. Exhale, prayer in front of your heart. Inhale, heart goes toward your thumbs. Exhale, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Pushing your tailbone back, crown of your head going forward. You can look up to the sky if it feels good. Stay with me. Inhale. This is the last little hurrah. Exhale, rotating to the other side. Left elbow hooking on the outside of your right knee. Try to keep your knees aligned. So look down and make sure that you don't have one poking out a little bit more. Keep them parallel. Looking up toward the ceiling. Inhale, come back to center. And on an exhale, fold forward. Here, you might want to just hang for a second. Take a nice deep inhale into your nose. And exhale, let something go. These exhales serve to let something go that you don't need to be carrying with you. So all these little sensations that bubble up, we need to exhale to actually release them. Hands on the floor, begin to bend your knees softly and walk your hands back to come to a seated position. And from here, place your feet on the mat, bring your hands below your knees. On an inhale, open your legs, pull your heart forward, lengthen your throat and look up. And then on an exhale, start to round your spine and look toward your belly button. One more time like that. Inhaling, pulling your heart forward. And exhale, rounding your spine. Inhale, coming forward. Starting to push your heels forward. Your legs are united, feet are flexed. Spread your toes wide. Inhale to find length in your spine. Exhale, start to fold forward. And it doesn't matter if your hands get to your feet. Just fold until you feel that curve starting to come in your upper back. And before that curve happens, just lengthen and then start to place your hands down on the mat. Activate your hands backwards. Inhale, so it's like you're trying to drag your body forward just using your hands. And then exhale to lay yourself, starting to go in the direction of laying yourself on top of your legs. You can walk your hands forward if you have space, and then continue like that. So inhaling, lengthening. And exhaling, finding a little more space and perhaps walking your hands forward a millimeter. And you might get to the spot where it's enough. And if you do, then you just stay there and you breathe into it. And you might choose to close your eyes. You might choose to continue to gaze toward your toes. That's the direction that you want to be lengthening in. We're going to take one more deep inhale in, pulling your belly button in, and then exhaling, going a little bit deeper. Inhale, leaving your hands on the ground, just roll yourself back up to a seated position. And exhale, we're going to keep on rolling. So starting to kind of close into yourself, curl into yourself as you roll one vertebra at a time. Strong core, and lay yourself on your back. Bring your head down to the mat. And from here, you might want to open your legs, open your arms, palms facing up. And just feel the sensations now that you've completely stopped moving. Deep inhale into your nose. And out of your mouth, exhale everything out. And welcome to Shavasana. As you lay here, just let everything be still and quiet. Allow yourself to feel without getting in the way. So no resisting, no fidgeting, just stillness. And it's a stillness that comes from a calm, soothing place, not a forced stillness that makes you feel like you have to freeze like a statue. Just let yourself be heavy. With your next inhale, bring a deep breath into your lungs. And then exhale out of your nose or your mouth. Letting your body remain still and heavy. Your next inhale, start to wiggle things. Your toes, your fingers, start to make little circles with your hands and feet, and maybe rock your head from right to left, back and forth. And then exhale. Begin to unite your legs. Bring your arms by your ears. Deep inhale to create even more space, more than it seems possible, between your fingertips and your toes. And then exhale to feel that beautiful sensation of having created that space. Begin to bend your legs and roll onto your side, leaving your head on your arm, your eyes still closed. Feeling a sensation of peace, of softness, all throughout your body. And it's reflected in the expression of your face. And bringing that with you, come back up, slowly but surely, into a seated position. Eyes can still remain closed. Hands on your knees or in prayer in front of your heart, and take one last deep, deep inhale into your lungs. And then exhale everything away. And take this moment as we close our practice to express deep gratitude to yourself for having taken the time to practice and carve out a little bit of space for yourself and give yourself a little bit of love. And I thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much.